fun storylines this weekend in the NFL. It's NFL Week 14. The Jets play at Buffalo, and the big question is, how is Jets quarterback Mike White going to play? The Jets beat Buffalo with Zach Wilson as their quarterback earlier this year, so I believe Mike White is a better quarterback than Zach Wilson. If you could win with Zach Wilson, what can you do with Mike White? But also, that's not how football works, and Buffalo's going to be looking for revenge. It's a home game for Buffalo. It's going to be a great game, I think. Certainly interesting, and the story is, how will Jets quarterback Mike White play? And then, last time they played, Josh Allen, the Bills quarterback, had a couple ugly interceptions, struggled in the red zone. Can he nip that in the bud this week? I think he can. I think he's a different quarterback than he was a couple weeks ago. Josh Allen is making strides and getting better every week. But this Jets defense is good. That's a fun matchup. Jets defense against Josh Allen. But really the question is, can Mike White score enough points to keep up with Josh Allen? We're going to learn a lot about Mike White this weekend. That'll be fun. The Battle of Ohio is really interesting. The Cleveland Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals. It's the first Battle of Ohio game for Deshaun Watson. I'd love to go to one of these games sometime. It's not as fun of a rivalry game as like a big-time college game like Alabama LSU, but it is interesting. There's some bragging rights. I really, really like Cincinnati, Ohio, particularly. What an awesome city. Very underrated nationally. People hate on it. Skyline Chili's awesome. It's very clean. The stadiums are beautiful. I like the river. It's brown in the winter, but it's really cool. Now, for Deshaun Watson, he had an ugly first start last week on the road against his former team, Houston. The question is, will Deshaun Watson play better for the Cleveland Browns this weekend? Another crazy storyline, though, is that Joe Burrow has actually never beat the Cleveland Browns. Joe Burrow was 0-4 against the Cleveland Browns in his career. That's weird, but true. He's never beat Cleveland. And I kind of can't believe that, but it's actually, you're like, wow, that's very weird. It'd be kind of funny, by the way, if the Browns add their quarterback, Deshaun Watson, and they're paying like millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. It'd be very weird if the Browns add Deshaun Watson, who's supposed to make their team better, and then do lose to Joe Burrow for the first time. How funny would that be? That's very much at risk of happening. I'm not sure what to expect from Deshaun Watson. He's got to play well at some point. He didn't really play well in the first game, but it's one game. So I'm curious how Deshaun Watson plays in his second start of the year for the Cleveland Browns. Another big question this weekend is, how will 49ers rookie quarterback Brock Purdy play this weekend? He played very well coming off the bench to replace Jimmy Garoppolo, who got hurt last week. And, Brock Purdy beat Miami, which is crazy. And this week, Brock Purdy is making his first ever NFL start. He's going to do it because he's going to do it against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can you imagine, by the way, you're a rookie, 7th round pick, Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick of the entire NFL draft. Can you imagine making your first ever NFL start against Tom Brady and then winning? How cool that's got to feel to tell your family, to look in the mirror and be like, look how far we've come, Brock. I just beat Tom Brady in my first ever NFL start. I'm now the starting quarterback of the San Francisco freaking 49ers. There's a really big moment for a lot of personal accomplishment this weekend with Brock Purdy. I'm very interested to see how he does. I'm curious how he's going to throw the ball downfield. Can he throw the ball downfield? A lot of stuff underneath last week. One thing Brock Purdy did really well in his first game was when he was blitzed by the Miami Dolphins. He hung in the pocket and he found good matchups downfield and threw the ball to beat the blitz. That's a high-level thing a lot of young quarterbacks struggle with. The question, though, is I think Tampa can get pressure with just a 4-man rush. So how does he handle that? Can he play in a messy pocket? I don't know. I'm just really fascinated to see how Brock Purdy plays this weekend for the 49ers. Now, the Miami Dolphins playing the LA Chargers is very, very interesting. It's Sunday Night Football. The Dolphins drafted Tua instead of drafting Justin Herbert, and they have been regularly compared since, Tua and Herbert, and people have said, yeah, Miami made the wrong choice. I think I've even said, even though I love Tua, if you could go back, you probably would draft Justin Herbert instead of Tua. But it's going to be really fun to measure these guys, Tua and Herbert, head-to-head. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be dramatic. It's going to be one that people are going to go, well, when they played head-to-head, like you're going to hear these narratives again. If Miami loses to Herbert, you're going to hear, Miami should have drafted Justin Herbert, blah, blah, blah. And if Tua can play really well and beat Justin Herbert, I think it's going to quiet that narrative that they drafted the wrong guy quite a bit. You can't go back. You can't change history. You can't change what you did. You make a decision. You got to roll with it and do the best you can moving forward. You can't ever go back in time. But I think we're in for like a really fun, interesting game. And I actually think Miami is going to win. The Chargers just are not, who's a better coach? Brandon Staley or Mike McDaniel? I think Mike McDaniel's a better coach. And the Dolphins have a lot of talent. So I'm really interested in this game. Dolphins, Chargers. Going to be a lot of discourse after the game. That's going to be fascinating to observe. Monday Night Football is the 6-6 New England Patriots on the road at the 4-8 Arizona Cardinals. The big question to me is, how will Patriots quarterback Mac Oatmeal Jones play? How is Mr. Oatmeal Jones going to do? You're fine, but I'm not that impressed. I had oatmeal this morning, by the way. Lovely thing, but it's not the best breakfast you can have. How is Oatmeal Jones going to do? I hope he does for like 500 yards and kills it, but I think what the Patriots have to do, I said it last time I talked about this, the Patriots have to make some kind of changes, whether it's a new offensive coordinator or actually hiring someone who is not just a de facto offensive coordinator calling plays, Matt Patricia, or they got to go get a bunch of players or maybe change quarterbacks. I don't know, but if Arizona scores a lot of points, I don't know that Mac Jones and the Patriots offense can keep up with them. However, the Arizona Cardinals are bad. They're 4-8. They've got talent, but I have been begging the Arizona Cardinals to fire their head coach, Cliff Kingsbury. I think he's not up to the task. And this game is a potential interesting moment where Arizona could get outcoached badly on national TV by Bill Belichick and his staff on the Patriots. So there's just a lot of interesting things that could be created after this game. How does Mac Jones play? Does Cliff Kingsbury get badly outcoached? Can Mac Jones keep up with Arizona if they score a lot of points? There's a lot of fun to be had here on Monday Night Football. It's going to be, despite two teams that are 6-6 and 4-8, I think there's a lot of fun to be had between the Patriots and the Cardinals on Monday Night Football.